Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Leroy here from PluginsMasters. I'm hanging out with Etienne, right? You know, and Devmo is going to do the vocals for us. I'm excited about her. You know, I love what she's doing and her great talent. She's going to rap and sing for us. It's going to be nice.
Heck yeah. I'm excited to be here.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
And we got a nice track that we're going to do, but we're going to start off talking about the vocal chain. The first thing in the vocal chain will be the U47, and everybody knows this is one of my favorite mics.
Baby, just breathe. In the midst of chaos, you can find your peace. Baby,
It's just a great mic. Just a great mic because the mids are so soft, so controlled. We can put the vocal really up front in our face without being like just too aggressive. And if we want to stack vocals, I'm not sure exactly if we're gonna do stacking vocals, but when you stack vocals with the U47, it's amazing. The mids stay soft and it's really warm. And for female vocal, well, any kind of vocals, it's amazing. And we're gonna have also a really great chain after the microphone, the preamp, the two compressors. Well, more than two compressors.
Yeah.
We have different kind of channels going through the Pro Tools. It's gonna be freaking amazing.
Now, one thing I have to say about this is, right, for me, I guess you guys should check out the frequency chart. During the video, you should take your time to just rewind it a few times and really listen to it. The tone is very magical. This is a go-to microphone.
baby, just breathe. In the midst of chaos, you can find your peace. You can find.
You cannot go wrong, and this is why we go in studios like Westlake Studios, because a microphone like this is more expensive than a down payment for a house. So you cannot really buy these kind of microphones for a home studio. So you really gotta go to places where they owned it for like, I don't know, 40 years?
Yeah, but these
something like that.
microphones are also connected to these rooms. These rooms are magical. The acoustic sound is just insane. It's, you know, to be honest, they were made for people like you. People with very great talent.
So I get to bring one home after this?
Well, we got to talk to Westlake about
There's gonna be a
that.
giveaway at the end of the session. And, but even Leroy would sound amazing on this microphone.
That's true.
Wouldn't you? There you go.
So you know what? We're gonna go in and we're gonna talk about like we're starting off with the microphone, but we're gonna talk about the preamp and the compressors that we're gonna use. Okay, here's the routing system. 48 outputs going to Pro Tools or your tape machine with 4 stereo buses. Next, we have the preamp input section where you have your line and mic input, your subgroup, your flip, your phase button, phantom power, high Z, and pad. Okay, next we got our compressor and gate section. We have the ratio, the release, the range, the release again for the gate. Then we got the threshold for the compressor, the threshold for the gate, and we have the hold button, monitor, channel in, channel out. Here you got your filter section. You have your high pass and your low pass filter, and you also have the side chain button here. Next you have the EQ section, the high frequency, boost or cut, choose the frequency, and the bell for the cue. Next, the high mid section, you can boost it or cut, and you can choose your cue and choose the frequency and the inserts, of course. Next is the low mid section. You can boost or cut, you can choose your frequency, and there's your cue. Next is the low frequency section. You can boost or cut, or you can choose your frequency. You got your EQ in, your monitor split, the E, and you also have the bell. Next we have our effects auxiliary sense section. Overload, left and right, the QST, the effects, and the small fader, which is a stereo effects send. So now we have 6 mono effects sends, and each one of them have an effects odd and an effects even button, and also you have your level knob and small fader button. Here you can activate the pre for 1, 2, for 3, 4, for 5, 6, and last the cue pre. Okay, so next you got the group, you got your tape button, and your track ready button. You got your pan, your small fader mix, your pre large fader, post large fader. You got your solo, your cut, your large fader mix, your ISO. You got your fader, you got your pan here, the ST, you got the rec section for M and P, and you got the solo and cut. Okay, so let's take a look at the Pro Tools outputs right here, left and right. You got the piano with the Royal 121 mics. You got the low and the high frequency part of it, left and right. You also got the piano, the U67, low and high. And you got the piano, also the room one, the SM69, left and right. You got the bass DI, the Rhodes, left and right. And you got the vocal return. Okay, so let's talk about the preamp. Okay, here you can see I have two vintage Neve 1073. I'm just going to use the preamp and make sure I don't use the EQ. Now, one of these preamps is for the U47 and the second one is for the Sony microphone. Now, right here, this is the tube tech. I'm going to do the ratio at 3.1. Tack and release is slow, but I'm going to change the release to fast maybe later on. And just 2 dB of gain reduction. Right here, this is the input knob to adjust the input gain for both the mic preamp and the line input. Also, you have a 3-band EQ, and you have your low, your highs, and your mids. And you also have your high-pass filter. Okay, so for the Tube Tech CL1B compressor, here you got your gain knob where you can adjust the levels after the compression. Next, we have the ratio starting from 2.1 up to 10.1. Next, you have the threshold where you can set the levels where the compression starts. And next, we have the attack. We can adjust the speed of the compression. And then you also have the release function that's next. That controls the duration of the compression, like fast or slow. Okay, so next is the meter section where you can see the input, the compression, or the output gain. Next is the mode section where you can select fixed, manual, or combined response for the attack and release. Okay, so the next section here is how you sidechain your compressor. Okay, so inside the piano, we have the famous Royal R121 ribbon microphones. One is for the high frequency and the other one is for the low. Outside the piano, we're using two U67, one's for the high and the other one's for the low. For the piano room recording, we're using the Neumann SM69 stereo microphone. Here we're using the output from the Fender Rhodes amp.
Baby, just breathe. In the midst of chaos, you can find your peace. Baby, just breathe. In the midst of chaos, you can find your peace. You can find. I've been looking, I've been searching, head down. I've been working, trying to make it perfect. Spread the sermon, no religion, no resistance, pure acceptance, simple vision. Getting tired of the same old things. Highest profit over people, but Martin had a dream. Equality and freedom, they say freedom ain't free. We live in poverty to feed the greedy, now we starving. Baby, just breathe. In the midst of chaos. Getting tired of the same old thing. It's profit over people, but Martin had a dream. Equality and freedom, they say freedom ain't free. We live in poverty to feed the greedy, now we starving. Yeah. Baby, just breathe. In the midst of chaos, you can find your peace. Baby, just breathe. In the midst of chaos, you can find your peace. You can find. Getting tired of the same old thing. It's profit over people, but Martin had a dream. Equality and freedom, they say freedom ain't free. We live in poverty to feed the greedy, now we starving. Yeah. Baby, just breathe. In the midst of chaos, you can find your peace. Baby, just breathe. In the midst of chaos, you can find your peace. You can find. Getting tired of the same old thing. It's profit over people, but Martin had a dream. Equality and freedom, they say freedom ain't free. We live in poverty to feed the greedy, now we starving. Yeah. Baby, just breathe. In the midst of chaos, you can find your peace. Baby, just breathe. In the midst of chaos, you can find your peace. You can find. Getting tired of the same old thing. It's profit over people, but Martin had a dream. Equality and freedom, they say freedom ain't free. We live in poverty, defeat the greedy, now we starving. Yeah. Baby, just breathe. In the midst of chaos, you can find your peace. Baby, just breathe. In the midst of chaos, you can find your peace. You can find.
All right, guys, you know, we had a great time in the studio today.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you
you for
so-
having me.
Oh, thank
and
you so
welcome
much.
to LA, guys.
Yes, thank you so much. ATN, my man, another great job. Martin, what's up?
For the road.
All right, peace out. LA, what's up?
Sway up, baby, just breathe. In the midst of chaos, you can find. Baby, just breathe. Yeah, baby, just breathe. Just breathe. In the midst of chaos, you can find your peace. You can find. Baby, just breathe. In the midst of chaos, you can find.